Right. So normally we use Jira because of course there are a couple of tools even. So one of the tool prominent we use in project management or product management or comes under Atlassian, because Atlassian is an organization by itself, wherein Atlassian have different products, right? So you have different products for Atlassian, like because Jira software is the one which will be used to manage project tracking, issue tracking, all that. At the same
Oh,
time, we use service management for ticket reservation, tickets, raising of tickets, right? So if there is any queries to the team members, raising the tickets, everything comes under Jira Service Management. At the same time, even Confluence is a kind of tool which normally we use, especially for document collaboration, because especially in Jira, especially in the field of Agile, we don't write any documentation as separate. There is no separate documentation. So no like features related stuff or functional or non-functional, right? So there is no separate documentation that we prepare. So among all that, what is that we do is that apart from that, especially we require some Confluence tool where we can write down the product requirements, right? At the same time, whatever the meeting are we going to conduct, all these things can be done there. This is generally we use for Confluence. So apart from that, there were other tools for Atlassian either, because one of the tool for Jira product discovery, of course, this is the one which was recently introduced. Earlier, we don't have much about Jira product discovery. Earlier, whatever the product implementation as a product owner we do, everything we used to do it on the Jira itself, because Jira is a software you can see here. On Jira software itself, we used to do everything. This was the situation earlier, right? So in this, what we can do, there is an exclusive product management which can be done, right? So if you want to create any product development right from the scratch, here we have an option called create project. So I have already created few projects, not for product management, of course, that is for different purpose, right? So that is for different purpose, for a Scrum Master or for Jira training, these projects was created. So hence I'm not showing all that, right? So I'll be showing you. Here we can see there is an option called create a project. So whenever we are clicking on create project, it will show you all the templates. Whatever the templates are required, it will ask us everything, right? So because of course, as I told you, Jira product discovery is the one which was introduced recently. You can see over here, right? So which was recently was used. But earlier, we don't have any product discovery. Atlassian doesn't have any product discovery tool as separate. So these templates can be used by anyone, not only IT development people, even non-IT people can also use, because Agile is a way of approach or a methodology which can be used by anyone, even not only for IT people, even non-IT people can also use this. Non-IT people will also use to track the progress of work, right? So all these things can be done by the IT people here, right? So IT people will use this for managing the teams, right? Adding members to the existing team project. At the same time, tracking the progress of work, whatever the work was given by the product owner doing, all these things usually taken care of by the development team members.
yeah.
So this is where generally the software development is being used. So when we talk about agile environment, especially in the field of agile, if you are using Jira means, Jira can be used by different people, not only for software development people. Of course, if you are from software industry, wherein Kanban, Scrum, multiple frameworks and processes are involved, so whichever is required, so we can use it. Normally, Kanban we use when we have flexible duration timelines. Whereas whenever we have a specific strict timelines we have, then we go for Scrum framework, right? So that's the difference. So we in our practicality, as far as product management itself is concerned, these two are not relevant, because we will discuss when and wherever it is needed if it is required in future, right? So as of now, we don't require it. Next is service management. Service management, as I told you, ITSM. In real world, especially with Jira, There are two combinations. Jira has a tool for project tracking and management that will be connecting with service management. So service management will be used for raising tickets so that solving those tickets will be done accordingly. Or else the other advantage, other tool is like ServiceNow. I think you might have heard about a tool called ServiceNow.
Yeah.
So Jira can be connecting with ServiceNow also. Because normally in real world, usually what is that we do? Jira will be connected IT with service management, Jira service management, or else Jira will be connecting with ServiceNow to raise the tickets, all that, right? This is what generally exclusive service management is, ITSM related. Next, if there is any kind of work management, this is all something being used here. Next, product management, this is what generally the new thing which was launched, right? So this is what we call it as product discovery, which was recently launched and introduced. So not only product management, Tarun, because even non-IT people can use this. Because, for example, marketing people wants to use this. Because as I told you, agile environment is not confined only for application development. No, not only for IT. That's what I mean to say. Even non-IT people will also follow agile in their organizations in an enterprise level. So what is that we require is we must be knowing about to whom this can be used for. So marketing people can use this. So marketing service management, or else if they wants to do any kind of event planning or campaign management, all these things can be used in the marketing itself. Next, HR people can use this. HR people will be uses for recruitment, policy management, etc. The same way, finance people, right, operations people, sales people, all these people will be used. Now, ours is product management. For that, there is a tool called product discovery, right? So, product discovery, which is a newly introduced one, wherein if you want to create anything in reference to the product discovery, here we have an option where we can use the templates, because these templates varies depends on the type of project we are using. Because if you follow software development, as I told you, you have to choose either Kanban or Scrum. So based on the choosing whatever that we have chosen, either Kanban or Scrum, automatically you will be identified remaining things and you will be doing it. That's what you will be we do. But whereas here in this product discovery, there will be some templates which are available, which normally can be used by us here. So this is what generally the product discovery was. So here you can see there is an option for use template wherein we can use it. Use template. Now here we need to give a project name. Of course, as I told you, Tarun, I am not creating a project now because there were some other points to be discussed with. Later,
Okay.
the practicality we have to go.
Sure.
But for a matter of understanding, I'm just creating a project, okay? Not the real one, okay? Underline this. For example, XYZ is what I have taken, right? So choose an access level. It's only for specific users, private, XYZ1. I'm just mentioning it as XYZ1, okay? XYZ1 I'm taking, product discovery, create a project. Right, so this is where generally this product can be created. Is this clear, Tarun, to you? Did you understand? Tarun?
Yes, I understand.
Right? So this is what generally product. See, here we have to create an idea. So I'll create it as separate. Okay, I'll create a project as separate, and I will show you on stepwise, because it's not only theory, but parallelly you need to learn some practicals. That is even
Okay.
required, essentially needed, because as in when you want to enter into product management, it is always helpful to know about the theory part of scenarios about the product management, but equally you must be knowing about how to implement this in reality. But subject to condition here, some organizations may not be using Jira. Okay, that may be the reality. Some organizations may be being a product, they may be using other tools. Okay, some organizations may be using Jira, because there is no guarantee that people use only this tool for product development. Okay, because some organizations have their own product development tool as separate. If the organizations were very big, they have their own team, they have their own tools which they will be using. They don't hire any other tools from outside usually. So some people can use it. But end of the day, how to create an idea, how to implement that, how to understand the impact assessments as well as the kind of effort we are making, how to create a roadmap plan. So these are the things which are common as well as uh, common for every tool, because either you may be using a Jira product discovery, or else you may be using another product development tool as separate, which organizations use. But how this is to be incepted, how to initiate this, and how to take in this to the next level is something common for everyone, right? So this never changes. Understood, Tarun? Clear?
Yes, I understand.
Understood, right? So, but as far as our possibility itself is concerned, we have we have an advantage that we have a access for Jira. Hence, whatever the practical assessment I am going to do, everything will be shown on this. Is it clear to you, Tarun? Right?
Yeah.
Clear or not?
Yes, clear.
Right. So here we have to create an idea. This is from there onwards, here onwards, we will be, right? So whatever the ideas we have and all everything. So we need to create an idea first, right? So based upon the idea, implementation will be taken next. At the same time, whatever the implementation are we going to do, this has to be grouped based upon the selection of fields what we have. For example, creator, right? So who is the creator here, right? So we need to mention whatever the creator ideas do we have from the idea creation to product development. Because product development we are not doing based upon the requirements. Understand the difference between project to product. When we talk about project, there are business problems, there are requirements given by the customer wherein we are working on. But if you talk about product development is based upon the idea generation. Whatever the idea we have, whatever the idea we got, that idea we want to make it into reality, wherein that has to be visualized is what our perception will be. So that is what the difference you have to see from. That is what the idea you have to see difference from project development to product development. Is it clear to you, Zaran? Understood?
Yes, I understood.
In product management, we don't see any requirements because there is no specific requirements will be given by anyone as such. Right? It's only an idea. Either you may be getting this idea or some of your people were getting an idea. That idea you are putting it into an action, right? So that your idea you are putting into a reality. If you want to make it into reality, there is a roadmap has to be created. So there is a visualization of roadmap is required because there are some ideas in your mind which has to be expressed to the people who are implementing it. How do you implement that? How do you show that? For that, what is that required? We require some roadmap. So whenever you are creating a roadmap, then only all these will be appeared. Otherwise, not possible. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So there is no specific requirements as separate for product management. If there is any requirement you see or we thought, usually it is an idea. So idea will be turned into requirements, but more than all, this is where generally we have to visualize that idea. For that, generally these roadmaps, all these will be used by us, right? So this is what generally roadmap will be. Yeah, this is what generally the roadmap, right? Here we have to give an address, name for the roadmap here, right? So for example, XYZ ideas, right? So this is what generally the name was given here. Wherein here we have to implement, right? So we have to implement the goal, we have to implement the roadmap here, right? So wherein we need to create a roadmap, right? So whatever the roadmaps do we have? right? So whatever the roadmaps we have and all everything, these roadmaps has to be created first, right? So once the roadmap is created, then we'll be going for a planning purpose, right? So how this can be implemented, right? How much time will it be taken for us to for implementation of the particular product? What is that we have identified? Next, is this the product we are developing is directly we are implementing, or is there any specific timelines we were giving or not? Because whenever we are working on the product management, there are different timelines will be there. Because if you remember, the complete product may not be delivered by the team, right? So because product will be delivered based on the phase wise, right? The phase one implementation do. So whatever the phase one implementation was done, that will be given to the users. So this is all something I can say. Phase one means version. I can say version one, version two, right? So version three, four, etc., etc. Right. So it depends. So based on the versions, these are all these will be released. So version to version, there will be some specific features or functionalities you may be adding, but end of the day, whatever we are going to develop in reference to the product management itself is concerned, baseline of product management itself is something common for any of the product. Understood, Tarun? Clear?
Yes, I get.
You idea, right? So there are phases. Phases nothing but we have versions like version 1, version 2, version 3, so on. Depends on version to version, whatever the new features were launching by us will be added accordingly. So further, if there is any kind of versions you are planning as separate, as you know already, you have to plan this prior. That planning we have to do it prior itself. This is where generally the plan will be prepared when after the roadmap. Whenever you have created a roadmap, this is what generally the planning will be. So that in this planning, we will be meeting the deadlines here. We have to implement the deadlines, right? So whatever the deadlines do we have and all everything. So those deadlines has to be mentioned here equally. At the same time, if there is any kind of delivery of the product we want to deliver, right? So based on the phase wise and all, this can be delivered. But in back of it, there will be some administrator roles. You must be knowing that because you know the role of an administrator, especially. Administrators are the people who will be creating some workflows, right? So creating some filters, all these things will be done by the what we call administrative people. Usually these people we call it as Jira admin. Understand, right? So these people we call it as Jira. Yeah, sorry, right? So this is what generally we call it as Jira admin people were. So Jira administrator people responsibility is to create workflows for the project. At the same time, whatever the filters to be created or writing for the project rules, right? So whatever the rules of the project they are developing or a product. So all these things will be done by the Jira administrator. Like for example, if you want to if you want to add filters or something like, so we have to add the filters to that, right? For example, this is where generally we have to add the filters, different filters and all everything we have to add, right? So creation of filters, adding filters and all everything is what generally we have to see. Right? So creation of filters and all everything we have to, but Jira administrative people will do that, not the other ones, right? Usually Jira administrator people will be doing all that. So this is all something relating to the filters point of view. Followed by this, the next, if you want to know about the impact assessment, right? So impact assessment of the product, what is that you are developing, right? So because when you are understanding the product, when you want to release the product into the market, so before that, you have to do some assessment. This is where generally there is a self-assessment tool normally we use. Can you tell me what was the self-assessment tool we use? This is a common management tool we use across departments before you're taking any decisions or something. Could you tell me what was that? There is a common technique we have. What was that? Tarun, are you there? Tarun. Tarun, am I audible? Are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So my question to you is, impact assessment is what we have to do, right? So when you talk about impact assessment, usually in the field of application development, IT, either it could be a product or a project. For a decision making, there is a tool, there is a technique, not tool, there is a technique which normally we use. What was the technique? What was
Uh,
the technique we use? What was that?
I mean, can
It's a
you repeat it?
common technique, Tarun, because this technique is known for everyone, even especially people who are belongs to management even knows that. What was that?
Scrum?
No, again, I'm repeating. For example, in an organization, right?
Okay,
You are in a role of taking business decisions. Okay,
okay,
you are in that role. Okay, please listen again.
okay,
Now you want to introduce something to your in business, right? So you want to add some new service line to your business, or else you want to introduce a new product to the market,
okay,
or else if you want to assign a task to some of your people, for any of all these things, okay, what is that you do? Being a decision maker, let's say you want to develop a product or you want to introduce a market to the industry.
okay.
What is the first thing being a person you do?
Check check the viability of the project.
Reject the viability. Oh, okay, great.
Check.
Viability, whether this product has a viability to exist in the market for a long time or not. That you have
Yeah,
to. Am I right?
yeah.
Yeah, viability is important. Yes. Anything else apart?
Time
Viability check.
time frame. In what time we can.
That is depends on what type of product you're developing. Okay, because in product development, time frame is in your hands.
Yeah,
So for that you need require a strategy, right?
yeah. Correct.
When this is to be developed, when this is to be introduced this to the market. So everything is in your hands. Everything is the one you have to do that, right? So that you will be doing. What else?
What else? That's it, I guess. Am I missing?
Anything. Do you see any kind of techniques you use?
Agile.
Agile is not a technique, right? Agile is a way of approach. That's
Yeah.
agile is not a technique.
Technique.
You are in a stage of business decision making role. You are going to introduce a product into a market. What is that first thing you do?
Market
First
survey.
thing, what is that you do is SWOT analysis. Am I right?
Market survey. Yeah.
SWOT
SWOT analysis.
analysis. SWOT.
Okay.
SWOT. SWOT analysis. So what is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis as follows: strength, weakness,
Opportunity threat.
opportunity, threat. Okay, these are the 4 points. Ready होता है? Covered में. Strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. S stands for strength. What does strength mean? What strength being an organization, right? Because see, developing or introducing a product into a market is a group activity. It is not a one-man show. So being an organization, what are your strengths to develop the product is what you have to assess. Do you agree?
Correct. I
Second
agree.
point, you have to know about your strengths first. When you know about the strengths, equally you should know about your weakness even. Agree?
Yes.
Right? Because some organizations, they may be very good at developing a quality product, right? So they have very good, strong research and development team. So they know they do very good research on the industry, what kind of products, right? So they may have a very good R&D team. They may have a very good implementation team to develop the product, but they may be lacking weak in reference to the marketing part, right? So marketing or branding it to the market, some people may not be so aggressive, right? So that may be their weakness. Their strong point is to presenting a quality and as well as valuable product to the market is what their strength. Equally, their weakness is having a
Not
difficulty in marketing this to the public. Am I right or not? Right.
yes.
So strength followed by weakness, you have to consider. Next, third one is called opportunity. That is what the answer you were giving some time back, right? So what was the life of the product? Am I right or not?
Yeah.
So before you are going to understand the life of the project, first of all, you have to see, do you see any kind of space or an opportunity you have to introduce this product into the market or not? Right? So industry may require this in reality, then only that product will have a acceptance. If there is no space, even though whatever the time, budget, money you have invested will be of waste. Yes, sir. Right? You need to have an opportunity to make this product accepted in the market, in the industry. That is what your perception must be. Agreed or not? Right? Third, right? So
Yeah.
you have to see the opportunity, because either there are two things, Tarun. One, you have to see the opportunity, you have to identify the opportunity, or you have to create an opportunity. Neither two ways. Either you have to identify the opportunity, means space. Where you have, do you have that space which is to be filled with, right? So you have to see the opportunity. That is one way. If there is no opportunity, at least you have to see, you have to create an opportunity. Any one you have to choose.
Yeah.
Right? So either you have to create an opportunity, or else you have to identify the opportunity, or you have to create an opportunity. But creating an opportunity is not happens in all the stages. Examples. Sometimes it happens, not because creating an opportunity is not practically we see in every field, but of course that's a different context. So opportunity. So based on the opportunity, you will be assessing the life of the product. To what extent the product existence will be there in the market, because it's not only accepting this by the people, but equally we have to see this has to be accepted by the people outside, isn't it? Right? Am I right or not? Right?
Yes.
So this has to be accepted by the people. Acceptance for the people is important. People has to accept yours. People have to accept your product, and your product should have a life even, right? So longevity, as long as the product has a life, we get returns out of it. So that is completely again depending on the kind of goal what that particular industry wants to achieve. Again, if you go back to the previous session yesterday, what is that we have discussing? There will be some points which will be matched to this, right? So this is where it was. We talk about opportunity. Opportunity, what opportunity you have to introduce this product to the market, and what will be the life of the product equally. Once product, the next is opportunity, the next is threat, which is what we call it as threat. Threat means what are the challenges you come across, right? It's not only weakness. There is a line of difference between weakness to threat. Can you elaborate me, or can you tell me what exactly the difference between weakness and threat? Sorry.
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah, I'm asking you what is the difference between weakness and threat?
Weakness,
Difference
uh,
between
threat,
weakness and threat.
threat is something which comes from outside,
Mhm.
like from our competition or something like that.
Is it
Weakness,
outside, you can say?
I
Can you
mean,
rephrase that word rather than weakness outside? Can you rephrase it?
on the market, maybe.
Okay, okay, carry on. You carry on.
Yeah. Whereas weakness uh, is our limitation, maybe.
Limitations never be in weakness, Tarun, right? So weakness may be, see, for example, I may be weak in some aspects of coaching, right? Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it may not be due to different reasons. It may be maybe based on my behavioral these things. I may be weak on some points, right? So weakness is what something you cannot confine this to an individual sometimes. But when we are talking about an organization may have a quality deliverables, but financially that organization may have doesn't have much budget. So that itself is a weakness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though
Right.
sometimes you have X is an organization or Y is an organization having a very good marketing team. Their weakness may be lack of funds, right? It doesn't mean they don't have. They have, but the weakness is that they are not so strong financially. That could be their weakness. So weakness cannot be imparted only for an individual. It can be related even for a group or for organization also. Understand?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Next. Tell me how you are differentiating between weakness and threat.
Uh, yeah. As I said, weakness. Uh, mm, Right is something like, as I told you, like which we cannot control. It is an outside factor. Why?
Outside
Uh,
factor. Uh-huh.
yeah. Coming to the weakness is something which we are not working on. Maybe something like that.
See, there is a difference you have to understand. Weakness is a present tense. What is that existed as of now is called weakness, right? This you can relate for an individual or for a unit or for the organization, right? So weakness is a present tense. Present tense means what is that present you have now is called weakness. Am I
Okay.
right?
Current problem
Current situation, it's not problem.
and
Where you
situation.
are not so strong, that itself is called weakness. Okay.
Mm.
For example, why is an organization have all the qualities except they are not financially strong? The organization is not financially strong. If they want to innovate something or if they want to be going to aggressive into the market, the major obstacle for them is financials.
Yeah.
Do you understand this? Right? This is what we call it as weakness. Second, threat is not external, because the kind of understanding what is that you have, absolutely to an extent possible you're right, but we cannot say that threat is not external. Threat is that what you see, it's a future tense. Weakness is a present tense. Threat is a future tense. Due to this weakness, it become a threat for you in future. Understood? Clear?
Okay. Got it.
I'll tell you an example. Why is an organization is strong in every area, is strong in quality development of the product, but they are weak in financials. Budget wise, they doesn't have that much funds to go aggressive into the market. This is their weakness. Now, in future, it is not external. Of course, on a context of your word is accepted, but we should not use external. In future, what could be the possible threat? The possible threat for this organization is that they may be losing an opportunity to innovate the products because they can't do innovation. Why they can't do innovation? Because they are not financially strong. Clear to you? Understand? Did you understand or not?
Yes, I did.
Right. So weakness is what the present tense is talking about. Threat is nothing but future tense. Right. So future tense. This weakness of not having enough financial resources, whatever the weakness are we talking about for the organization called Y, may become a threat in future to expand their business aggressively. They can't. They can't expand their business, even though they have a business ideas, even though they have enough technical, functional power they have, right? So manpower, everything. But the major obstacle they were facing is this. Clear to you? Understood? Right? So threat, what is the threat here? They may not go aggressive into the market. That could be the threat. So expanding business aggressively when and wherever it is needed might not be possible for that organization because of the
Financial.
weakness. If this weakness will be continued, automatically it will be turned into a threat in future. That's the reason why weakness is a present tense, threat is a future tense. Clear?
Yeah.
So this is where generally SWOT analysis we do. This is self-assessment and all, everything will be done on that grounds. Clear to you?
Yeah.
Clear to you? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So this is also